Hi, hello, and good morning, good afternoon to everyone joining us from around the world. So I'm Praveen Ramesh, your host for today's webinar. And I have my fellow speaker Akhilesh. I think we have a separate slide to introduce all of us. So I'm just gonna do a quick sound check. Akhilesh, you're able to hear me all right?
Yep. And what about on your end?
Yes, I'm able to hear you perfectly all right.
Perfect.
Awesome. So, folks, okay, we know that this is going to be all about our product and five reasons why MSPs like you are moving to superops.ai. But let me set the context right away, right? Right. So, we don't want it to be like more like a sales pitch. We just want to truly have a conversation, a two-way conversation about, hey, why are MSPs those who have moved to us? I know that we are an early stage company. I know that there are established options out there, but we truly want to have a two-way conversation about why are MSPs choosing us over some of the more established players. So that's going to be the agenda. So if you have any questions, there are two ways to reach us. One, either you could post it on the webinar window, or if you feel like, okay, you had a question that popped up to you, post the webinar. Our website chat is always available. It will be Akhilesh and me who are always kind of taking care of the chats. So yeah, cool. Akhilesh, can you move on to the next slide? So this is the quick agenda that's going to look like, right? So why this call? I'm calling this a call and not a webinar because, as I said earlier, it's going to be an open conversation. We are going to be honest about what we have, what we don't, what you could expect out of us, and what is it that makes us stand out. So that's what we are going to be telling you. And secondly, is going to be a subset of what I told you first. Five reasons why people are moving to superops.ai when there are established options out there. And finally, we'll wrap it up with our roadmap and Q&A, and I'll tell you why we are doing that, showing us the roadmap. And quickly about Akhilesh and me, because it's always good to put faces to names, especially in these times where, virtual meetings, virtual webinars, or webinars are supposed to be virtual, but virtual events are ruling the world. So I'm Praveen Ramesh. I take care of all things marketing at SuperOps. And in my pastime, I usually love watching cricket or all things sports. And you would see me pop up in an MSP community near you. And on fun times, you'll find me chugging a beer in a pub near you. So Akhilesh,
Yep.
so
And I'm Akhilesh, and I take care of solutions and pre-sales here at superops.ai, but basically all things customer facing. And apart from the times when I am busy discussing solutions or love talking about the MSP world to so many out there, I am also a musician and a gin lover. Like how Praveen chugs beer, I don't chug beer, I chug gin, but I would just love to chill with a gin, and my evenings are always with a gin and tonic.
yeah, fun fact about Akhilesh, he's a lover of all things jazz music. So if you have any recommendations or if you want any recommendations, he's the person to reach out to.
Absolutely. And a top Miles Davis fan here.
Awesome. So let's move on, Akhilesh. So okay, so let's start on with the first reason, right? So why do you need five tools when you can do it all in one? So this is the first reason why a lot of MSPs, especially the smaller ones who move to us, keep telling us, right? So as a small MSP, you want to be like kind of wide enough. You want to be doing a lot of stuff, but it's always you're constrained not by the money or the people, but you're always constrained by the kind of resources you have. And by resources, I mean the kind of tools that you have at your disposal. Hey, what do I mean by tools? Right? Typical MSP conversations, how it goes. Hey, mate, we manage projects, but we need a project management for that. Hey, mate, our RMM doesn't talk to our PSA. Hey, we have an awesome PSA and RMM, but it doesn't kind of reflect well on our CRM. So, as a business, what we realize quickly with our conversations is that at least using 5 to 6 tools to run an everyday task, and you go to any other field or any other line of business, this wouldn't be the case unless the complexity of the business is really extreme. So this is the number one reason that a lot of people keep telling us. Again, there is no priority in these reasonings, but one of the main reasons why people choose us over some of the other competitors is unified. And when we say unified, it's not like we are stitching together pointed solutions, but it's more like unified from ground up. So Akhilesh, over to you on kind of showing it in action.
Absolutely. And just adding on to what Praveen just mentioned, superops.ai is not going to be just a platform which will lead you into just doing certain functions and you would have to do a lot of tab hopping. It's just one tab that you log in on a daily basis to run your whole business. What do I mean by that? As you can see on the screen, it is a one for all in one platform for MSPs out there. Be it, let's say, managing your ticket or breaking them down into tasks. But not only that, you'll save your time from moving into a project management solution like maybe a Trello or a Microsoft project. Don't worry, bring them on to superops.ai so that you can manage and streamline all your billing, work logs, all of it in one single space. And from the RMM perspective, of course, managing your assets, alerts, patch management, scripting, and even IT documentation. Yes, we understand that a lot of MSPs are going ahead and using different tools for IT documentation when the RMM world is elsewhere. But we wanted to save that hop also for you. And while you have this fundamental platform in place, of course, we are not going to leave you from managing, let's say, the clients as well, managing your clients and their contracts and managing the invoice, how we want to audit them and how the invoice are approved and what who's being given what kind of invoices. Everything is in your control right here, right? So when I'm saying talking about client management, it's just not about contracts or so. We have a lightweight CRM in place. What do I mean by that? Let's say if you want to have contract related or business related conversations and make sure you have files in place for further conversations down the line, or what who's part of this client, the sites you have, everything is in one single place. Or let's say I go to my workspace, as you can see, I have my tickets beautifully lined up, what's the issue, who's raised, and everything completely customizable, right? That's what we're talking about, the tool that's completely customizable. And not only tickets, but I can also have projects right here on my workspace where I can see my active projects running. And since it's a single platform and not stitched together, I can even go and look into my tasks and see clearly for the day, saying how many tasks are actually from tickets and from projects. So you have one single place to manage all your work item. That's precisely why we call this the workspace. Or even if I move into my assets, anything from my alerts, or let's say what's happening with patches, anything's pending my approval, did something fail, or managing different asset groups, my scripting, my IT documentation, all in one single place. And that's the vision that we are taking towards. And the vision is, if currently you're using, let's say, 6 to 7 tools to run your MSP business, with superops.ai, we definitely want to bring it down, at least 3 tools down on one platform for you. So that's what you can see here.
Yes, absolutely. Just to add on to all the awesome points that Akhilesh made. So, what does it mean to you as an MSP? It means two things, right? One, straight up, you save a lot of cost that you would spend with otherwise all the tools that you would end up spending. And two, you never lose context, right? So, let's say you're using a Trello or any other tool for project management, it needs to integrate with your current system, which is again a pain. And you wouldn't have all the customer context and client context that is stitched into all the other tools you use. With a unified platform, that's what it means, right? You have all the context within the system and you just need to literally hop screens to get things done rather than hopping one tool to the other, one tool to the other. So,
Yep.
uh, Akhilesh, let's move on to the next one. Yeah, so this is again something that we strongly believe in, which is that our tools, as you know, the first impression that you would have seen with what Akhilesh showed you before, is it draws you in and blows your mind. So what do we mean by that? So every module that we design inside SuperOps was designed with a single goal, right? Obviously, we wanted to have the functionality that's at par with whatever you want to achieve. We wanted to have all the features that would make a unified platform, but it was on top of all this was to ensure that these apps live up to what the consumer apps of today lives like, right? So take any other vertical or any other industry, the apps have kind of progressed in terms of design, functionality, user interface, and user experience. But take any of the MSP tools out there, you would, like, it's a design that, our design speaks for itself, right? So you wouldn't want to hang out with the tool. It sounds clunky, it sounds boring, it sounds very uninspiring, or it looks very uninspiring. So what we have done with respect to, our design is mainly focused on two things, right? One, it's very pleasing on the eye, it's very easy to work. And a lot of our design principles is based on just one thing, ensuring that the technicians in your MSP or as an MSP owner, you stay productive. And what do we mean by that? Akhilesh is going to show you.
Sure, absolutely. And if I had to summarize what Praveen was mentioning when putting technicians first, that's exactly what our designers tell day in and day out here at superops.ai. Any small enhancement that goes out in superops.ai, the first question that everyone asks is, hey, is this technician first? What do we mean by that? So let me give a couple of examples from superops.ai, which can make a technician's world better, in turn, an MSP's world better. We are always used to a long list of tickets and maybe different ticket views, etc. This is going to be there in literally every other ticketing tool or a PSA solution that you see. But this is where superops.ai goes an extra mile. We realized that it's not always a long list of tickets. Sometimes you might be actually working on an asset, but you just want to keep a tab of, hey, what's happening with my VIP customers? Or maybe you are busy working on a ticket and suddenly you just want to keep it as somebody called you about some issue and everyone's raising a ticket. You want to keep a tab of, hey, what's happening in my queue? And these things will, in a normal traditional system, you would have to leave where you are currently, move to that and see what's happening. But don't worry at all these mission critical items, the things you want to keep a track of, that's why we designed home screen. Wherever you are in the product, you get to design your own home screen. This is completely fluid. Add your own widget, drag, drop, resize. The analogy I would draw is just like a phone's home screen, right? Whatever you're doing in a day, or you wake up in a fine morning, the first thing that you open is your phone, and your home screen is completely customized for you, always telling you, hey, what's in store, what's happening. That's exactly where we took this idea from and thought, why don't we give this to technicians out there? So you can customize your let's say your own home screen with your own widgets, drag drop. So wherever you're in the product, one click on home, you truly feel home knowing what's happening and where are we headed. But that's not only it, right? And you can keep a tab of what's happening. But let's say you are running MSP with 5 to 6 technicians, and you might come on a very busy day and immediately you see that there is some firefighting that you would have to do. A long list of tickets is not something that's going to help you all the time. So where we drew this inspiration is, as we already mentioned, this is a one for all in one solution. We started building our project management solution. And if we are building project management, of course, Kanban view is table states, right? You should have a Kanban view in project management to know where the project is headed, etc. And we got great inputs, and also one for this kind of fluid Kanban view that we went ahead and built how you can manage projects. And that's when it hit us saying, what really MSPs love out there is the ability to visualize work. That's exactly why we went ahead and extended this to the tickets as well. So let's say you are having a busy day, it's a long list of tickets. Don't worry, just one click of a button, you move to a Kanban view, clearly telling who's busy for the day. I can clearly see that Arjun's pretty much loaded for the day compared to Akhilesh, so I might just start delegating tasks to Akhilesh right here, drag drop, and you can see how fluid it is. And maybe you want to take a quick status check on, hey, where the tickets are headed, how many are in progress, how many we have closed. It's right here, right? So this view is going to help you visualize work and not do multiple clicks and filters and columns to identify what needs to be done when you have a busy day. That's part A. But this is about how you can keep track of work, how you can delegate work very easily within clicks. But for technicians who are in deep work and where they are working, don't worry, we have actually cascaded those design principles as well. What do I mean by that? Let it be our assets or our ticket screen. It's designed like a chef's table. I come into the ticket, I quickly know, hey, who has raised the ticket? What are the properties? What's happening, what are the latest update, what's the communication that's happening, are there any internal note, were there any work logs added, everything, as you can see, right beside just a click. And coming back to what Praveen mentioned is, we really want to save all those tab hops for you. And that's why, as you can, or you would have already observed, we have a multi-tab UI. But where it really becomes useful is, let's say that I have to troubleshoot this problem. Of course, it's about taking a remote connection. I can do it right from here. But let's say I want to dive deep into this particular asset. One click, it opens in a new tab for me. I immediately get all the details I need right on the first screen itself. And be it, let's say, looking at this asset, details from my IT documentation, or any further bells and whistles that I want to see right behind a click. Maybe I find the issue, run a quick script, and just move back to the ticket where I was and resolve it. That's how fluid working in superops.ai is going to be. And this is the larger picture of how productive a technician can be in superops.ai. But if I have to pick out even nitty gritties, you might have seen maintaining contracts. You would go ahead and create all the service catalogs, etc. And even stuff like where you want to create contracts for your client, we will save time for you. Where it's not like you have to create a standard contract all the time from scratch. It's just a couple of clicks, apply a template, and just onboard your client just like that. So this is just a small example, but every aspect of superops.ai, if you're doing it in 3 to 4 clicks in other contemporary tools out there, in superops.ai, it's going to be always one click. And that's how we have designed the tool.
Yeah. So, what does it mean to you as an MSP? One is like, you would want to hang out in the tool just for the interface because it's one we believe is very fresh to the MSP world because, pretty much any player out there, with all due respect to what they've built, I think we have a pretty, a consumer app kind of a design which will make you hang out in the app more. That's on the fun side, but truly we believe in all the important details that will help you make very, very, very productive. So, Akhilesh and me, we kind of have a challenge internally where we say, hey, any task within superops.ai, we would be able to do within, let's say, maximum of 5 clicks, right? Anything that takes more than 5 clicks, we run to our engineers, we run to our designers and say, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to rethink how this is being set up. So that's how much we care about all the design and making your MSP productive and hence more successful. So
Yep.
yeah, so this is my favorite one, and to be very honest, this is a marketer in me who's trying to kind of escalate what our automations could do. But truly, when we mean that what our automations could do for you, it's our automations could literally put you to sleep. And the reason we say that is again in a lot of our conversations with MSP owners, especially the small MSP owners, a majority of their time goes in just a couple of things. One is obviously figuring out how to get a particular task done in that tool, which takes a lot of time, which we solved it with design. And second thing is getting a lot of grunt work done, right? The primary reason being one, a lot of MSP owners don't kind of figure out, hey, how to use their existing tool to the fullest capability and configure it in a way that it works for them and not the other way around. But at SuperOps, we have ensured that we have a good design principle that will make you productive and a powerful automation that will take away all the grunt work as an MSP owner or an MSP technician for you. The result, have more of a peaceful night's sleep. So, and Akhilesh is going to show you how.
Yep, absolutely. And maybe what I can do, Praveen, here is maybe step into the shoes of one of the technicians. If let's say I ran an MSP and I was a technician, and this is how I would use superops.ai, right? And I'm going to share the examples that Praveen mentioned, design and powerful automations, how both of them come together to make my life real easy. Let's say I'm having a busy day and I suddenly get a call from one of my clients. Wherever I am on superops.ai, without losing context, I just hit create and say I need to create a ticket. It opens beautifully in a new tab. You don't lose context of where you were. This is something we already saw. But since I'm on a call, I know who's on the call. I quickly choose, okay, Harvey Specter is on the call. And typically when you are going to raise a ticket and when someone's calling you, it's always urgent. You don't want to go into a process of creating a ticket, so many fields out there, but you need all those information while you're troubleshooting. But you are creating a ticket, that's where design comes into place. I understand what Harvey's problem is and quickly say, okay, he's facing with email issue, so I click email and immediately say it's login issues. And as you can see, since I chose email issue, automatically the ticket form aligned itself saying that you just need to collect these two information right now, otherwise you can take care of things later. So this is putting client's experience first, right? And I just quickly create a ticket. But this is where design plus automation comes into play. Now that was design that helped me wherever I was, within a couple of clicks, created a ticket for Harvey right here. But now the automations automatically kicked in because the moment I created a ticket, of course, you can see that Harvey mentioned that it's an email issue, but all I filled was one single field while creating a ticket. But as you can see, SuperOps has automatically identified what kind of issue is this, what cause it is, what's the issue, and everything has been populated right here thanks to the automations. But that's not where it ends. Like I always say, we go one step further in superops.ai. And as you can see, it's not only about giving me all this information. quickly superops.ai is also telling me, saying that, hey, I think you should set up the email server or troubleshoot it this way. So immediately it's telling me for this particular issue, you need to go ahead and go ahead and reset the modem, reset the email server, and refresh memory. And maybe if it has to be delegated to somebody else, that is also automatically done within clicks. That's how amazing that you can delegate tasks, or also have a checklist item to make sure that you know what to do as a guardrail whenever this issue comes up, because superops is guiding you. Let's say before setting up the email server, you have to throw an approval to one of your clients. That is also something superops.ai will remind you. But it's not only about these one click actions that you get to do, but also client's experience matters the most. While you are maybe delegating these tasks, when people are on it, you have sent for approval, etc., you need to make sure you keep Harvey informed, right? And don't worry about doing that manually as well. Either you can completely automate this, or when I hit reply, superops will automatically suggest saying, generally this is what you would send in this situation. Just click one click and the issue is already sent to the reply is already sent to the customer. So as you can see, from the point I tried creating a ticket and until I went ahead and responded to the customer saying this is what's happening and we'll fix it in the next couple of hours, it all just took a couple of clicks and everything else was just taken care by automations. And maybe since I'm showing a dream world, I also want to show that we also walk the talk. And even if I have to slightly go ahead and show you a sneak peek into the settings, the beautifully how we have designed the automations is it is scalable and it's not any rocket science. You do not have a long list of checklists or conditions to write. Let's say I have to say that when a ticket's coming in, do something. I just go ahead and create a beautiful condition saying that whenever a ticket's coming in, scan for a certain parameters and do all of these, right? And that's all within just a couple of clicks away. And that's not where automation ends in superops.ai. That's about managing your complete ticket flow. Let it when from the time your ticket hits your PSA, how it has to be categorized, who it should go to, what should happen, or let's say on a timely manner, if you have to automate, remind your users saying on following up, everything can be automated. So like Praveen mentioned, leave the grunt work to the platform and you just take care of what's important, that is helping your clients, that needs your involvement. But that's part A, because that's just a conversation and ticketing part of it. But with respect to managing your assets, don't worry, we haven't got it covered, because just like how our automations are designed very simple and scalable and we can leave the grunt work, similarly managing your assets with our policies is going to be a breeze. So I can just go ahead and say, right, this is going to be for all the Windows machine. I can set up alerts or my patch schedule, or let's say I can quickly go ahead and choose a particular client and have a different schedule for them, or patch schedules, or for a particular side of my client, a different alert and a patch schedule as well. And on top of that, a cherry on top is it's not, you are not always confined to just these alerts. Or let's say I have to go ahead and set up a disk space alert. You have all that saying that if disk space is greater than a particular value, you can see the design coming into life, quickly saying that how easily you're able to set these alerts. But that's not where it ends. You can also manage your assets to an extent where everything is custom. If you're big on scripting, have all of your favorite scripts in superops.ai, and I can even schedule things completely saying that, hey, on a regular basis, run this particular script and make sure that the output is stored in a field, or the relevant alerts are thrown to your customers, etc. Right? So that's the level of automation you can do either on the PSA side or the RMM side. Like Praveen mentioned, as a technician, it will truly put me to sleep because I just know everything is taken care of and I just need to step in only where things require my attention. And that's exactly what we mean by our automations can literally put technicians to sleep.
Yes, I think Akhilesh pretty much summed it up pretty well. So I'll move on to the next point in the want of time as well. So we try harder. So this is something that we pride ourselves in because when we started up in the space, we knew that there were a lot of established players. There are players who have probably a lot of let's say who have a lot more money to play with, who have a lot more features than us. But you know what? We've built all this product during a pandemic in the last probably 12 to 18 months. And as Akhilesh was going through the product, and probably as he would show you through the roadmap as well, you would know the pace at which we built is because of only one thing, right? We want our MSPs to do well. right? And that's the reason we place emphasis on every little experience. So we truly believe that product is just one part of this overall experience, right? Hey, you know what? It's us today. Probably it's gonna be one more player tomorrow, right? 5 years down the line, it could be one more player. But what is gonna make us stand out is that a couple of things, right? We have a sales and support system or a support engine, irrespective of the size of your MSP, irrespective of what plan you choose to go with us. So as Akhilesh opens up the product, you would see that we have an in-product chat for almost all our pricing plans. We have an email support, we have a phone support, and you would see our usual reply rate is usually less than 10 minutes. And we have a chat that's embedded on the website as well. So you could get in touch with us literally on any of these platforms, and this irrespective of which pricing plan you are in. Number two, no matter what, when you fill out a form to speak with us, somebody from SuperOps will get in touch with you in the next, probably in the next 4 or 5 hours. That's the max I'm saying. Internally, we have a benchmark of getting in touch within a 1 hour, but maximum I'm saying it'll be in 4 or 5 hours. And three, we always try to give you an overall experience in terms of implementations, in terms of migrations, and pretty much everything, right? And the primary reason for all this, because we feel MSPs, as MSPs, your business provides an exceptional service to all your clients. But has the MSP community been served well? The answer is a big, 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 and in capital, in bold, and underlined NO. No. I personally think, having interacted with a lot of MSPs, the MSP community hasn't been served the way it should have been served, just from a customer service point, just from an experience point of view. So we constantly try harder because of two primary reasons. One, we want to provide you with an overall experience, and two, being the newest kid in the block, we can't afford to take MSPs for granted, right? We know that we have a lot of catch up to do, but hey, we are gonna get there. But in the way, we want to ensure that it's a true delight for MSPs to work with us, and we will be partners in your growth and not just vendors where we say, hey, buy our product. This is what we have to offer. Take it or leave it. No, that's not who we are, and that's not who we are as that's not how we want to do business. So Akhilesh, do you have anything to add here? I know pretty much that we don't have anything to show inside the product, but this is the principle we live by.
Yep, absolutely. And just one thing I can add maybe is like we from the customer facing team are always looking forward to talking to each one out of you. So all the channels that Jamie mentioned, anything that you want to discuss with us, we are just a click away and we would just love to have a conversation. Either you want to talk about superops.ai or you are using superops.ai and you need some help. We are just looking forward all the time to make sure that we cannot afford to drop the ball and we would love to do anything it takes to make sure everyone's happy using superops.ai.
Yeah, I'll just add one more thing on what Akhilesh said. Not just about super ops, right? Anything about MSP. Hey, bombard us with a question. Probably we might not be able to help you, but we'll put you in touch with an expert who might be able to help you. That brings us to the last point on why a lot of our customers have been telling us that the transparency that you folks show at superops.ai makes us makes other MSPs very envious. So what do we mean by that? Yeah, I mean, at this point in time and in the future, we want to be super, super, super transparent about what we are going to be building, how we are operating as a company, what is in our plan next, and pretty much everything along those lines. So in fact, one of the rare things that we do is we have a public facing roadmap for all our customers. So if you're a customer, irrespective of which plan you are in, we have a roadmap that shows you what's planned, what's in progress, what's completed, and you're pretty much open to interacting with all our team members, including Akhilesh, our product manager, CEO, CTO. The first thing they do when they come in the morning is to see, hey, what are customers saying about our product? You would see our product manager who gets involved in, answering questions. You would see Akhilesh posting about, what our customers telling him, and you would see Kanchana, who is our other pre-sales engineer. She goes around, tells people that this is what customer wants. So we are a very transparent company, and that's the reason why we've gone ahead, put a chat inside the product, right? You would see very few MSP vendors doing that because, hey, we want to be there for you. We want to be transparent with you. We want to tell you what's coming up and what's not, right? So I'll leave it to Akhilesh on kind of telling you on what's coming up in the next few days because, yeah, because Akhilesh has been speaking to a lot of customers. He knows what customers have been asking him for.
Sure, absolutely. So maybe I'll just put into something because we just rolled out a couple of enhancements that includes a lot of enhancements on our contracts or how you can build out contracts. We build out a custom contract builder, contract templates, and once these invoices are generated, we just rolled out an integration with QuickBooks. So that's the phase we have been going ahead, and that's all in the recent times. Just a couple of days back, we rolled these couple of enhancements as well. But what's coming up is the most exciting part. Of course, we are really stepping the gas, stepping up our pedals on making sure that we roll out a lot more integrations. We are coming up with, just like we have a QuickBooks integration, we are coming up with further integrations such as AV backup integration. And as you can see in the marketplace, when it comes to integration, we already have a remote desktop integration with the three providers or a QuickBooks, but that's coming soon, which is the final leg is the integration with Bitdefender, Webroot, Zero, and backups such as Acronis. And that's on the integrations front and Packside, etc. But from a product standpoint, what we're also rolling out is currently from an RMM standpoint, we are having support for only Windows agents because we also realize that that's the predominant environment, or 90% of the environment MSPs handled is Windows from what we have studied. So that's why we roll that out. But we don't want to leave any stones unturned. Our Mac agent is also almost ready, should be out there by the end of this month, and also followed by we'll roll out our Linux agents and further enhancements on our RMM, such as tray icon and other things such as how well we can add more automations, etc., from an RMM perspective. And what do I mean by that is whatever I've told you till now is the immediate ones that are coming out. And we are also laying the groundwork for a couple of automations where there can be intelligence to it, how we can start doing intelligent alerting, everything. But that's all coming down the line, a couple of months away itself.
Awesome, Akhilesh. So, folks, I'll quickly wrap up why a lot of folks have been choosing us. One is the unified approach. So, why go with five tools when you could go with one, right? So, and we are truly unified where we haven't stitched solutions together. So, as an MSP, you have all the context that you need in a single platform, and you end up saving a lot of money because you're not going with a lot of tools. Two, draws you in, blows your mind, right? So, with respect to design, we are a design human centric first product designed with just one thing in mind. How do we make MSPs more productive, and how do we end up saving more money as for MSPs as a result of that? So that's the second reason why a lot of folks go with us. Third thing, automations. I think Akhilesh walked you through how easy it is to set up automations, and automations coupled with a great design just makes the life of an MSP technician or an MSP owner that much more easier. And with the enhancements coming in, I'm pretty sure you're going to have a long night's sleep. Hopefully things go well for you folks. Fourth one, we try harder. I think we spoke about how we aspire to give an overall experience and not just shove down our product, or sell our product to you. So we aim to have an overall experience rather than just having. We see the product is just an enabler for you guys to, kind of have that experience. Fifth and final one, transparency that your vendors will envy. So always transparent about what's coming up. We are open to having a discussion, and we have an extremely fast development cycle owing to the fact that we are built ground up. So those are five top reasons why a lot of MSPs are starting to go with us. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop it in our chat window, in our website, or inside our product. And yeah, so for now, I'll pause the recording, and it's time for Q&A. Awesome. Awesome, folks. I think it was a great session. So what we will do is we'll send the recording to everyone who's registered. So if you know of any MSPs who think, who might benefit from our product, do send them our way, and we would love to serve them as well. But apart from that, have a good day. Stay safe. Stay indoors, and yeah, hopefully the world gets back to the way we know it is. Thank you, folks, and have a good day. Bye bye.